Happy to welcome, please give a warm round of applause to Güliz Öztürk, CEO of Pegasus.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Güliz, welcome to the hot seat here on the stage in Amsterdam. And I've watched your airline change through the years. I mean, how old is Pegasus again? Is it 20?
With this business model, it will be 20 years.
20 years. Yeah, so it really has been a changing time, a time of expansion, and a time, as I was saying to Anke, of challenge as well. You've been CEO for the past 2.5 years,
exactly.
But you've got a lot of experience. You've been there and been for a lot of the different functions, so you really understand how the airline ticks.
I'm with the business, this airline business, more than 30 years now.
30 years, it's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Well,
with the company, 19 years with Pegasus.
I don't know what elixir you take to keep looking so calm and refreshed, but you've done
the airline
well.
business is so dynamic, full of, in itself, challenges that probably keeps us working for a different company for every year. So
exactly.
None of the years are resembling each other. That's, I think, the motivation behind it.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people in the audience do know Pegasus, but I thought I'd just start off by mentioning the phrase that you use about the airline, which is that we didn't start aviation in Turkey, but we transformed it. I like that phrase because aviation everywhere seems to be going through a transformation. But tell us a bit about this particular year, because we'll come back to some wider themes of transformation, but the year started off quite challengingly. It seems to be improving as the year goes on.
Exactly. By the way, that's my popular phrase about us.
Good.
Like we didn't start the aviation in Turkey, but we transformed it. That's true. Pegasus, just an overview, is the second largest airline in Turkey. It is the first and the only low-cost airline of Turkey also. We're running 112 aircraft right now, and flying to 145 destinations, mainly doing international business, by the way. 80% of our business is international business. It's not a domestic airline afterwards. Now this year, like last year, year before, COVID years, with different challenges, started with its unique ones, of course. And however, we have already left behind the busy summer period. So in terms of traffic, summer peak was strong. On the post-COVID period, I may say, even in 2022, we have surpassed the capacity we were offering pre-COVID times.
COVID.
The last normal year, we say 2019. So we have, in the first 8 months, we managed to grow by 19% of our passengers. So it's about 25 million passengers carried in the first 8 months. And we have added, which I cannot actually by heart say it easily, like 16 new destinations into our network within the last 2 years. From Europe, from Middle East, from CIS countries. So the airline is growing. Only this year we will be receiving 16 aircraft, Airbus 321 neos, and making up the fleet size close to 120 aircraft at the end of this year. So the demand is there. There's a strong demand. Turkey is really a prominent geography. Istanbul is our main hub, and offering us an advantageous position.
Well, you mentioned that...
And we get that demand, and we are, with the strong team of Pegasus, I have to say, we managed to utilize this demand on the favor of the airline.
I was going to say, you mentioned the international growth, and I want to come back to that in a moment, but I mean, there's no doubt one of the things that boosted you during and coming out of COVID is the fact there is such a big domestic market in Turkey.
That's true.
Distances are long, the geography, mountains and so on means that air travel is the preferred and only realistic, quick means to get around the country.
Yeah, that's true, because right after, it was like after 3 months, when in the 2020, in June, I think we were, like the airlines in Turkey, were the first airlines who started flying. Yeah. But that was possible with the domestic operations.
Yes.
Turkey has 84 million population. Istanbul only has 21 million population. So that domestic network, of course, especially during the crisis times,
Yes.
during difficult times, is an enabler for the airlines of Turkey,
Absolutely.
who are having scheduled business.
Now, you touched also on Airbus has been delivered. That's been a big change, hasn't it? Pegasus always was a Boeing airline. Now you're down to only a few Boeings left, and the future is the Airbus 320,
That's true.
321 family.
Yeah, until 2012, we were the only, we were operating Boeing aircraft, and in 2012 we placed an order of 100 aircraft,
Yeah.
Airbus Neo family, and the first one we have received in 2016. Until then, we're receiving Airbus Neo aircraft. More, we're receiving Airbus 321s with 239 seats. And those new generation aircraft is consuming about 17% less fuel. So it's good both for economical reasons and also environmental reasons. Our fleet age is 4.5 years old. So
Very
having
young.
a fleet size like 112 aircraft and at the age of 4.5 years old is something very unique. And we got an award last year even, like we are the 4th youngest fleet operator in the world globally.
Well, on those, especially the 321 Güliz,
Yeah.
you don't need, I remember chatting to you one other time, you've got the Neo, but you don't
Yeah.
need LR or XLR, because I think for many people in the audience may not be aware of the geography
Yeah.
of Turkey, is that you can get to so many places without that ultra-long range with a narrow body, which has to be a great asset for you in terms of that
Exactly.
decision about where you add new
Exactly.
network
That's
points.
why I said Istanbul is very well located. We use Istanbul as the main hub, and we can serve as a range of 6 hours with this fleet, narrow body. That 6 hours includes, for example, from Istanbul to Karachi of Pakistan or to Bishkek, Osh of Kyrgyzstan. We worked on LR before COVID, and it does not really add incremental significant destinations into our network vis-a-vis like establishing a sub-fleet of that or just investing in that type of aircraft. So we decided to continue with Airbus 321s. And also we're using Antalya, for example, as the second main hub. That 6 hours also helps on those leisure destinations out of Antalya. So the location-wise, we don't need it. It seems so.
And in Istanbul, just to get clear in all of our minds, I mean, your primary airport is Sabiha Gökçen.
Sabiha Gökçen.
That airport, I believe, has got a new runway, but I think it has some
Already.
terminal constraints. So what does that mean for your development? Are you pushing to get the terminal capacity upgraded so you can actually use that runway capacity?
Exactly. Last year, in December, we had the second runway opened. The two runways are in parallel, so it
Right.
means technically the capacity can be doubled.
Yes.
Technically, because these are parallel runways. However, then the bottleneck is now the terminal, because the terminal is serving about the maximum capacity is about 41, 42 million passengers, and it's close to that. There will be some projects now to increase the current terminal's capacity, but that's of course limited. I mean, you cannot utilize the two runways to the maximum with one terminal only. So there is a project which is discussed right now in Turkey of constructing a second terminal at Sabiha Gökçen. So we are closely following it. We're closely in contact with the authorities, because Istanbul is receiving this tourism in terms of different customer segments through two gateways. One is Istanbul Airport, and it has a huge growth potential, 3 runways, 4th is on the way. Sabiha Gökçen is the second one.
Yes.
And one is on the European side, the
I was
other
going to say,
one
the
is
geography is massively different, isn't it?
Geography is massively different. The catchment areas are different, and Sabiha Gökçen is a city airport. It also serves good for domestic travel. So, I mean, our expectation is that within like there will be a tender probably, so maybe within 2 to 3 years of time we will have another terminal where then the capacity will be close to doubling at Sabiha Gökçen. This also fits into our growth forecast and fleet planning, of course.
And your focus of growth, although you fly a lot to Europe, Western Europe in particular,
Yeah.
but you're growing far more to, like, for example, the Gulf, to CIS countries.
Yes, North Africa, Cairo, for
Africa too.
example. Yeah, Egypt, we fly to different destinations in Egypt. Yeah, CIS countries is one of the strategical growth areas for us. There is a good demand and high yield demand. The low-cost penetration is low, by the way, in those areas. Europe is like around 50% of our network, and of course there are still destinations to fly in Europe. I mean, we want to fly to all the capitals of European countries, for example, as long as the air services agreements allow. I mean, penetration with more frequencies into the existing destinations, plus with new destinations, we want to grow the network in the coming years. Domestically, we fly to 35 different destinations within Turkey. There is still room for growth
More
there.
potential.
More potential, yes, in terms of demand. But the growth will come with the fleet size increasing more from international.
And what about, we're in this very strange world situation at the moment as far as geopolitics are concerned. How much of a challenge is that proving for you? Are you managing to navigate successfully around these problems?
Yeah, I may say, I mean, proudly that we have managed to navigate through those challenges up until now, but it's very unfortunate, really. I mean, that's my hope is that this will not last long. It lasted enough long, and so that the peace will be coming back, restored in the very near future. What we have done is we stopped flying to Israel. Now it's a year now, 10th of October last year. Israel was 3%, close to 3% of our production. So we managed to replace it with
around.
Yeah, moving around, and we managed to grow still. Ukraine, for example, we were flying to 6 different destinations. Was a good demand between two countries. That also we managed to replace, and we managed to grow. We are also, we're not flying to Lebanon now, for example, until the end of this month. We're taking some operational precautions by closely monitoring what's happening over there, so some temporary suspensions of some flights. It's very difficult to anticipate how long this will last, what this will evolve into. But we have the confidence that we have managed to navigate in terms of capacity replacement up until now. It's a big challenge, that's true.
Absolutely.
Because we have a strong, I have to admit, a strong transit traffic from Europe to Middle East and vice versa. But the past experience, our strong muscles have done so far. As I said, I mean, I hope this will not accelerate and will be finalized.
Sort of peace.
In peace, yeah.
Güliz, we are unfortunately nearly out of time, and I haven't scratched the surface with the questions. One last one, and I think this is going to be addressed by your team and other panels, but as a young airline, you're a digital airline.
Exactly.
We
call ourselves digital airline of yours.
And a digital native. What I'm interested in, you've even got a technical facility in Silicon Valley.
Yes.
To support this, so like a tech lab. Have you been there? Have you been over?
Not yet, but I'll be within 6 months. We have very recently established the innovation lab in Silicon Valley. We have a small team there working. That's for technology scouting. I mean, we want to be at the heart of technology. Otherwise, we were, of course, following the technological improvements, the new technologies, and we're integrating into our processes or products and services. But Silicon Valley is, everything is going on. Yeah, technology is there, startups are there. I mean, that really fits into our strategy. For example, last month, the first output was we have now
Oh,
announcement.
you're going to preempt my question. I just read.
Okay. You just,
Pilot AI
Yeah, pilot
announcement. I hope they're not going to be AI pilots.
no,
But
not
just the
yet.
announcement.
Not
Just-
yet.
Not yet.
But why not having one pilot, one AI, one pilot at the
I prefer to have
in
two.
the huh?
I prefer to have two.
Yeah,
But no,
You prefer-
that allows announcements in different languages.
Exactly, different languages. We fly to Spain, for example, to Middle Eastern destinations. So we have voice clones of a real pilot working for our company. So he speaks, he makes the announcement in Spanish and in Arabic, and when he listened to himself, he couldn't believe it. That it seems that he's speaking Spanish. So that was the first output. That's good because captain announcements, we have measured that, has a direct impact on customer satisfaction, NPS score, information, getting information right and
Absolutely.
timely. So that was the first. We have other projects we're running
Yes.
through Silicon Valley Innovation Lab. So that would be, I think, a good future growth area for Pegasus in terms of technology leadership in the aviation sector.
Well, Güliz, much more to ask you, but we're out of time. So thank you very much for your time today. Güliz Öztürk, CEO of
you.
Pegasus Airlines.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Güliz. Cheers.